Hey, so scientific research today out of the University of Otago, using the same kind of facial recognition software and measurements and technology that can track people's identities through things like shopping malls and protests, seems to have proven the fact that protesters in the Wellington anti-mandate protesters, males especially, were less well endowed than other people of average size around. Okay, now that's completely bullshit. And what I'm trying to do is show to you something that we call the Science Post theory. Now, the Science Post is a satirical website that in 2016 ran an article claiming that only 59% of all people read the article. And when you clicked on the link, it took you to a page that was pretty much filled with that lorem ipsum mac filler gibberish that they have on there. What they found, though, that it was actually closer to 80% of people commented and reacted negatively to a negative headline instead of actually reading the full article. And you'll find the same thing happens on social media today. While the numbers these days are probably a little bit different because I haven't seen any current research around it, and we've had things like the pandemic and deliberate misinformation campaigns come into play. It's still something that's really, really obvious when you sit down and you look through the comments section on something like a Facebook post from mainstream media. People get angry over the content of the title, not necessarily the content of the story itself. They won't even necessarily read the description. People get angry at headlines, which is where the art of getting a headline right is really important, and where we start to see things like clickbait really coming into play to have an effect on how people interpret media and interact with media. So remember, if you're sitting there and you see somebody getting angry on social media around an article that they quite clearly haven't read, you're more than welcome to point out what is actually in the content of the article if you've read it yourself. If you haven't read it yourself, you are just as entitled to make a comment as anybody else, because that is how social media works. You can comment whatever you like. And to those people that were sitting here a little bit worried about the size of their you-know-whats and what the research had found because they're involved in the anti-mandate protests, I apologise for misleading you in that way. To be honest, I don't think any research has been done into that field whatsoever, and honestly, it's none of my business. So, yeah, but there you go. The Science Post effect is very much people only read the headlines and get angry with them. They don't read the rest of the stuff that goes up online, which means they're getting angry about something they're not really informed on.